the first original one has already saved so many lives around the world. Now this one, and look how big this one is. Look how insane that is. It's packed with information. So I'm reading about the Unforgiving Six and getting ready to eat too. So I got a lot of great food here from Cafe Gratitude, the medical media menu. So I mean, I see like a lot of stuff here. So this is exciting. All right, so I'm in the Unforgiving Six section right here. So what's the Unforgiving Six? It's like things that you need to be aware of because it empowers you, and that empowerment protects you, and then you can protect yourself and your loved ones, people around you, people you love. And that matters the most. That's what matters the most. If you haven't already pre-ordered it, make sure you pre-order it. Here we are right here. Okay? Once again, I have the book in my hand. I'm excited about it. The publisher sent me the book, I think it was like 3 days ago. Don't quote me on that. Could have been 2.5 days ago. Here we are. This is why the truth is so liberating, sobering as it may be to learn about the risks of our time in the pages to come. Because there's a lot of risks here on Earth. Everybody's so worried about everything. I mean, they're worried out there, but they don't want to know about this. That's what's really crazy. They're worried about like this little thing. They're worried about that little thing, right? And meanwhile, there's things in their life they need to be worried about because they're going to get themselves in trouble. The reward is saving your life. If you know that what Spirit calls the unforgiving six are threatening to your mental and physical health every day, you can mitigate the risks. I'm in LA right now, you guys, so you know, and I'm hearing those sirens. And there's just a lot going on. People getting sick, people having heart attacks out there. Spirit of Compassion says heart attack. All right, let's take a look here. If you understand how perilous our world is, you can free yourself from many threats. Threats that weaken and sicken you over time and even cause you to lose a precious resource, your adrenaline. That's the thing. People like they spend their adrenaline like it's like it's water, like it's tap water. They spend their adrenaline like it's tap water, like as if they're just running the tap water, the sink. They're running the garden hose, and they're just shooting out that tap water. That's how people actually treat their adrenals, even if they don't know it. And there's people that do know it too, though. There's a lot of people that do know it, and they love that adrenaline high. They love it. Caffeine, anybody? That's the adrenaline high. It's the caffeine adrenaline high. And if you discover just how central food is to saving yourself, it will change everything. If you just got on here, we're doing like a little bit of a mukbang. We got life-changing foods, expanded edition right here. I got to start eating because I'm not going to move through this food quick. So the Unforgiving Six. If you're looking to point fingers about how things got so bad in the world, here's where to look. The pathogen explosion, the pathogens. That's right. People think the cold sores and the fever blisters are really not a big deal, and you know you shouldn't be afraid of them. You shouldn't be worried in many ways, but they do cause a lot of problems. They create trigeminal neuralgia, they create migraines, they create all kinds of different problems in people, all kinds of different symptoms, even some fatigue. Epstein-Barr, that's another big one too. Epstein-Barr is a big problem for people. There are so many, there's dozens of varieties right now in the world, and these varieties do different things. They give people neurological fatigue, they give people all kinds of neurological symptoms and vagus nerve symptoms. So there's so much with the pathogenic explosion to learn. So you just got on here, we're reading right out of here. Get the book, Amazon.com. You can go there right now, pre-order it, it's coming out. So here's where to look. Pathogenic explosion, toxic metals. That's another thing too. So many people have so many metals inside their brain, the cranial nerves, inside their spine, inside their organs, their liver. It's not just lead. It's mercury, aluminum, copper. The metals are a big deal. So that's another part of it all. And get ready for this one. DDT and other applications. DDT is still around. They're still using it. you guys are still using it. It's blowing in the wind. Everybody's like, DDT's gone, DDT's gone. You know, what are you talking about? Gone? First of all, it's in everybody's body. It still is. Everybody. Passed on generation to generation. It's in babies now. Newborn babies right now, they have DDT in them. So it's not gone. It sticks around. It's like radiation to some degree. It's just here. It's floating around. They're using it in different countries around the world. It's blowing around everywhere. So that's a pizza in front of me. I got my eye on that pizza right there. That pizza I'm pumped about right now. Radiation. Let's go to that one. Radiation's a big deal. Radiation is everywhere. We get exposed to it. Can't run from it. Can't really hide from it. Radiation is in the airports. I always told people throughout the years, get a pat down, get a pat down. Don't go into that radiation machine. There was one time I took a trip and I was waiting for a pat down. I think I was waiting there for 40 minutes, one trip. Another time I was waiting for a pat down. I was waiting there for like an hour and a half and I missed the flight. Even though I was in there, they still held me past. It was crazy. It was this one crazy flight where I missed it because the pat down took forever, because I wasn't going to go into, it was like the early days where they wanted everybody herded in like cattle into that x-ray machine, you know, to that scanner. It's unbelievable. So the radiation is everywhere. It's not just at the dental office. It's floating out of the sky. It's falling out of the sky. We're still dealing with different fallouts. Radiation's a big one. Adrenaline triggers, and then civilization sabotage. These categories are the Unforgiving Six. So if you just got here, I'm talking about the Unforgiving Six right out of this book. This is the new expanded edition. If you don't have it on your pre-order it, lock it down. That's a big deal. When you're in LA, a lot's going on here. So now we have a car accident. These categories are the Unforgiving Six because they have shown no mercy in the decades, centuries, and millennia over which they have developed. They have on their own and together managed to ravage our bodies, make us question our own sanity, and push us to the breaking point as a society. So this is powerful information, having this, okay? Because it's about getting toxins out of your body that are in there. And maybe, look, maybe that doesn't matter to somebody. Maybe someone doesn't care. Why should they? They're living their life. They're doing their thing. But when you turn a certain age, it just all starts to just fall apart, starts to crumble. And that's when it starts to show itself for a lot of people. And don't get me wrong, there's people that are sick. They're sick in their teens. Children are sick. They're sick in their 20s. They're sick in their 30s. Maybe you got sick in your 20s. Maybe you got sick in your 30s. But a lot of people, they get by, they get a few different symptoms, they get by, and then boom, hits them hard when they're 40 or 50. But it comes either way. And the crazy thing is, you just don't want it coming early. You want to clean things up. You don't want anything to come early. The Unforgiving Six is something, there's something you can do about it. Taking like personal health control, getting empowered over your own health and well-being is powerful. And it's not just about processed foods. Processed foods, that's one thing. But there are people, they're not eating processed foods and they're bedridden, they're on Mattress Island, they're not touching processed foods. Last processed food they've had is 5 years ago, 7 years ago. For some people, the last processed food they had was 15 years ago, and they're battling illness and they're struggling. So let's keep on talking a little bit here. It's part of the quickening, an aspect of this book that has been here since the original edition, and which you'll read about in the next chapter. The quickening demands this expansion of additional information because it's gotten worse. Things have become worse in so many different ways. And maybe you're in a bubble and you don't think anything got worse. And that's okay. It's good to be in a bubble if you can be in a bubble. But still, you still need to know what's going on. You still need to know how to protect your family and your loved ones and your friends. Mercury has been wreaking havoc for thousands of years. DDT is much later than that, obviously, or just recently. Throughout the centuries, events such as the Industrial Revolution and the invention of the X-ray. I talked about the whole X-ray thing, right? Remember that? Um, Originally, the fluoroscope. The first book I talked about the fluoroscope, all in 1920s, the 1930s, the 1940s, and even in the early 1950s. If somebody went to go get a pair of shoes, they just X-rayed your legs. You just stuck your legs, your feet and legs into like a wooden box, and boom, you'd be hit by radiation. So many legs were amputated throughout the years because of this. So many people lost their feet because of this. And that radiation is still like in people today, passed down from generation to generation. Maybe you're really old, maybe you're really part of the older generation. Maybe you're in your 90s right now, and you're much older. You're somewhere in your 90s, and you remember that in the past. The unforgiving six are the invisible intruders in our lives. So you guys, I'm just reading out of Life Changing Foods for a little bit. The unforgiving six are the invisible intruders in our lives, the unknowns that keep us up at night. The reason that life has become so challenging and unpredictable. And so a lot of people think it's manifestation. They believe that that's a big part of it. Like they're not manifesting the right things. They're not like learning how to harness that, learning how to control that. And they think that's why their life is so hard. A lot of people think they're just making wrong choices, and maybe that's why they're stuck in certain situations. But people don't realize that when we get sick, it doesn't work like that. When we get sick, a lot of people, they come into this world with so many different varieties of viruses and pathogens. Strep alone is a big deal. There's people with chronic sinus infections, chronic sinusitis. There's people suffering from chronic jaw pain, teeth pain, neck pain, chronic migraines starting as a child. All these things we can come into this world with as well. We can get it passed on from generation to generation. Then we can get the exposures that could happen too. So I'm just going to take a look and see what I have here. First of all, I'm just going to take a few sips of celery juice, if that's okay. So you guys, this is from Cafe Gratitude right here. Just going to pop off the lid. I kind of like doing that. If that's okay here. Put that down here. I need some room. There's a lot going on. I got the HMDS right here. Heavy Metal Detox Smoothie. I have the I Am Precious antioxidant smoothie right there. You can get that at Cafe Gratitude. Now, if you guys know medical meeting protocols, I'm mixing things up a little bit. So, because I'm having a little fun, showing you some food, enjoying some food, reading out of LCF, expanded edition, and I'm drinking celery juice. Even though I'm going to be eating right on top of the celery juice, that's just what I'm doing. So, all right, just wondering what to start with. Let's start with some sushi, actually, before I look at the pizza. It's a millet sushi. Very exciting. What's in here? What's incredible about this food is it is so clean. It's the medical medium menu. If you go to Cafe Gratitude, you don't have to worry. It's not drenched in seed oils. It's not drenched in citric acid, not drenched in canola oil. There's no soy. So it's really, really, really clean. I mean, I can't wait to break out the pizza. So let me do this. This is going to go all over my book. And it didn't. That's good. We have suffered from a what you don't know can't hurt you illusion. In our current age. So what people don't realize is we're suffering from, if you can't see it, it doesn't hurt you. So if you don't see it, it's not hurting you, and it can't hurt you. It doesn't exist. That's the world we live in right now. And that's what people do, is if they can't see what the danger is, forget it. Got a lot of background noise today. Even though everywhere we turn, people are suffering from persistent symptoms or grave illnesses, we try not to delve too deep into the why of it, hoping that if we keep some distance, the same fate won't befall us. That's a really powerful statement. You're sick. I really don't want to know about it, because the more I know about it, the same fate's going to happen to me. I've seen that for years. That's how people think. Stay away from the sick people. If you're not sick yet, you don't want to be around the sick people, because it just reminds you what's going on. Because why did they get sick? It reminds you how they're taking care of themselves too. A lot of people who get sick and they find information to heal, like say they find medical medium information, they're learning how to recover their bodies and their health and their well-being. They're learning how to rise out of the ashes. They're learning how to rise out of the ashes. People who aren't sick don't want to really spend a lot of time with them. Now, there are, obviously, there's all kinds of exceptions. But for the most part, people who aren't sick don't want to be around people who are sick, because they start learning about things. They start learning about foods they shouldn't eat. They start learning about alcohol and caffeine, that they should stay away from it. A lot of people have vices, and so people who aren't sick yet and they hold a certain variety of vices, they don't want to like be around other people who are sick, because they don't want to lose their vices. So if you're hanging around somebody that's going through chronic illness and they're struggling with chronic illness, they're not going to go drinking with you, most likely, if they're working on their health. Maybe there's somebody and they're not working on their health at all, and they're sick and they're in a bar and they're drinking, and they're like, I got body pain, I got brain fog, I got fatigue, but I just need a drink. There's plenty of those out there. But if somebody's turning the corner with their lifestyle, they're finding answers, they're trying to figure out how to heal, they're looking into things, they're staying away from fried, greasy food or some kind of processed food, maybe they're shifting their diet, and they're now kicking away the alcohol. Now they're kicking away some of the vices. People who aren't sick don't want to hear about that. They don't want to know about it, and they don't want to know why they got sick either, because they just don't want it happening to them, and they don't want to change. They don't want to change what they're doing. They don't want to change their lifestyle. They don't want to change what they're eating. what they're drinking. They don't want to pull out the air fresheners. They don't want to get rid of the fragrances. We lose quality of life without realizing it when we're covered in fragrances. Fragrances numb the senses, taking away any instinctual senses and survival instincts. That's another thing. If you've got your home doused with fragrances and your car doused with fragrances, you can't smell something else you're supposed to smell, like maybe some mold. If a car is moldy, you want to know it, you want to be able to smell it, you want to be able to really be a part of that, like, realization that there's mold in the car. But if you got an air freshener, like they're selling all these new car air fresheners out there, you stick it right in the vent and you can turn it up and it's just pumping out. You won't smell the mold in your car anymore. So now you got air freshener poisoning you, and then you got mold lowering your immune system at the same time. Fragrances hide instinctual survival abilities in us. There's a fragrance out here. I'm out here right now, and somebody's got some detergent blowing out of their dryer, meaning they're drying some clothes, conventional detergents. Maybe they have, it was washed with conventional detergents. Now they have dryer sheets because you can just smell it. I'm actually smelling it out here. But doing medical medium tools is taking away all those floating metals from that stuff, because there's floating metals in all of that. Air fresheners, floating metals in air fresheners. Fragrances also keep us from enjoying life. If wine is something you like to drink and smell, yet you live your whole life doused in perfume and air freshener like a lot of people do, you'll never know really truly what a glass of wine smells like, even if you're sitting here going like this and drinking it and smelling it. If you're doused with perfume, you'll never know. I'm in the new edition right here, expanded edition, you guys. I got a bunch of food from Cafe Gratitude sitting out here, just nibbling away. So it's a medical medium menu at Cafe Gratitude. And I always wondered about that too, that piece of information from Spirit, where you got people who, like, they live for wine. They'll go to wine country, and they'll be in that wine country, and they'll be in the best winery, and they'll be all taste testing really expensive wines, but they're doused in so much cologne, so much perfume. There is no way they're going to be able to truly know what that wine tastes or smells like. You can taste cologne when it's fresh. You put it on your body fresh, cologne, aftershave, cologne on your body fresh, you're going to taste it. It's going to be everywhere in your sinuses. It's going to be in your mouth. And then you're trying out some expensive wine. There's just no way you're going to know what that wine tastes like. It's not possible. Isn't that interesting? The smell of salt air on the beach, the smell of nature in a park, these two are being taken away as fragrances fill and numb our senses. All these iconic joys in life are being lost. Remember when I was first starting to really get the fragrance talk out there, the fragrance information out there, people got so upset. They got so pissed off about it. They didn't want to hear that. They didn't, especially when COVID hit. Why are you talking about COVID? You should be helping people with COVID. Why are you talking about fragrances? It's like, I was the first to put out a COVID protocol. I was the first to put out an antiviral protocol for flus and COVID and everything else. Before COVID hit the scene, I was the first to be putting out immune system builders for it. There wasn't an influencer doing it, not one. There wasn't one influencer on social that was putting out anything for COVID or the flu before I was. It's just that I already did that and did that. So then when I was talking about fragrances, people were just like, this guy in fragrances, he should be talking about this other thing. Do you ever go to a beach and you smell Unless you got it all on you. Maybe you got air freshener on you. Maybe you're doused with cologne and perfume. Maybe you're doused with all those detergents, and you can't smell that. You can't smell other people that are actually doused in it. But if you go to a beach, you have to go right up to the water, and you got to hope the wind is blowing off the water, because then you can smell the salt air and enjoy the salt air, and that's when you could really smell it. When you go right up to the beach, right up to the water, right on the water's edge, and you just try to get that air in. Because if you don't do it that way, and you're kind of back further and somebody's walking by, you're just going to be hit with fragrance everywhere, air fresheners everywhere, cologne, perfume everywhere. You're just going to be saturated while you're at the beach. And then suntan lotion is a whole nother level. Like the chemicals in the dangerous suntan lotions, that's a whole nother level. A beach can be filled so much in the air of toxic suntan lotion, it can lower the quality of life, that alone. Like if you spend time on the beach too much during the height, and you're in there and there's 100, 200, 1,000 people in their suntan lotion slathered on their body, and it's just saturating the air, the amount of chemical poisoning coming from that is insane. That shortens years off of a life. But we can do something about it. That's the whole point. We can. Perfumes, among other fragrances, have gotten worse. New generations are pouring on perfume more than the older generations. Did you ever, like when you were younger, and you weren't really, maybe you weren't exposed to a perfume yet, and then you're in a store or something, or there's a family member and they're doused with like the older generation, like your grandmother or something like that, doused with a perfume, and you're like, woof, my God. Well, now all the kids are doing it. Now all the young people are just dousing themselves with perfume. The funny thing about it is, you do it once, all your stuff's saturated with it. It doesn't go away. It's saturating your closet, your bedroom, your house. And so the more you apply it, it just gets worse, but eventually it becomes just a perfume ball in the house. How can you even, know otherwise? Some of these fragrances are like tattoos. Once you use them, you've made your choice. You've made your choice. Somebody I know just tried to get rid of their tattoo. It's like, why try to get rid of it? Just keep your tattoo. Don't try to get rid of your tattoo. Like, no, I had to do it. I wanted to do it. I wanted to get rid of my tattoo. It's like, don't do it, because let me see. And a good friend of mine I've known for years, I said, let me take a look at your tattoo. So I looked at it, and it had a raise. So the skin was raised, so you had scar tissue there. Scar tissue was there. I said, dude, once you get rid of this tattoo, you're going to have the tattoo there. It's still going to be there. It's just not going to have the color, but you're going to pretty much have this like white mark outlining the entire tattoo, because it's all scar tissue. It's all raised scar tissue. I don't care. I got to get it off. I'm like, I would keep it on, because you're still going to have your tattoo. There's no going back. There's permanent. It's permanent unless you do a radical clothing, car, and living overhaul. And that's hard for a lot of people too. It's like doing an overhaul is really hard to do. Getting rid of perfumes, colognes, air fresheners, it takes a radical overhaul. I mean, to begin with, you just got to pull out the air fresheners out of the walls, stop using the aerosols, and just throw it all out. That's the big start. That's a big deal. But when it comes down to perfumes, colognes, and all that, it's in the clothing, it's in the bedding, it's in the couches. It takes, like, if you really want to do it right, it can take a lot. You could always wash everything. So if you ever want to go air freshener, perfume, cologne free someday to get rid of that toxic chemical out of your life, you're going to have to wash heavily all your clothing, your blankets, your bedding, everything. And you might even have to toss your bed, get a new bed in. You guys, expanded edition, life-changing foods right here. So I'm going to get some more food out. I'm going to move this over. That was so good, though. It was just really, really delicious. Pop this open here. This is the baked pumpkin pasta. I'm going to grab a fork. So it's a pasta bake. It's delicious. Has a beautiful salad next to it. So this is a Cafe Gratitude coming up. It's you'll be able to see this on the menu right now. The puttanesca pizza's on there. There's the tahini cookie. There's the Thai kelp noodle salad. But right here, this is looking really good. I'm gonna just bring this on top of my book. If you guys don't mind. So this is a shell pasta. Do you guys like shell pasta? Where it's the shells? Oh, good. This is just delicious. It really is. I'm gonna grab these little pea shoots here. Do you guys like pasta? If you go to Cafe Gratitude, you're not going to have to worry because there's so many things in food today. Mm. So delicious. Take a look at that. Baked pumpkin pasta. And this one here, this one isn't on the menu until after November 6th, but it's or November 6th, but it's going to be there. I'm going to have a little bit more of this. So good. Forever fragrances. That's what people should be worrying about. Forever fragrances. I know people are freaking out about forever chemicals. Like they are, right? But forever fragrances, that is a big deal. If you're choosing a picture to tattoo on your body, at least you know it's going to stay there indefinitely. And that even if you remove the tattoo with laser technology, the scar is going to stay indefinitely. Fragrances are pumped throughout apartments, office buildings, without renters' consent. So that's a whole nother problem. Hotels, without anybody's consent. No one's saying, hey, can we do this? That doesn't make the fragrance any less permanent. If you rented an apartment 15 years ago that was saturated in plug-in air fresheners, moved away, then went back to the original rental today, it wouldn't matter if the place had been painted and renovated with carpets, changed out the floors, sanded them down, it would likely still smell like that fragrance plug-in from 15 years ago. Fragrances have gotten only worse since then. The only way to remove certain fragrances that have been embedded into homes is a tear down and rebuild. A forever fragrance never goes away. You can try to mask it with another fragrance, and in the end, it will be one big fragrance. It's like a permanent tattoo on a house. Or on clothing. When clothing comes with the fragrance, it will be close to permanent. You can have new jeans that you soak and wash 100 times, and that perfume is going to be there, instilled in that clothing. Sadly, the only way to rid the fragrance, in most cases, is to discard an item. If you can't do that, because that's your only pair of pants, and you can't look for new clothing or anything, wash it without the conventional detergents. Unscented detergent is what you use. Something really gentle. And you break it down so it's less toxic. You break it down so it's less toxic. Break it down. In the future, it's going to be nearly impossible to find a shoe available that doesn't have a built-in fragrance pad. So here's what's interesting. Shoes are going to come with little fragrance pads in them, and even fragrance squirters. or you can squirt. Some are going to have it where you put your feet in there, and when you put your feet in there, it releases it purpose. The pressure of your foot's going to release the fragrance. So fragrances are going to be a part. They're going to be built into shoes. That's the future because of the whole smelly feet thing. Somebody's going to, come up with this ingenious technology thinking they're saving the world from people's smelly feet, when really they're not, they're making it worse, because somebody's smelly foot is a lot better than what they're about to do to shoes in the shoe industry. So in the future, no one's going to be able to get shoes that aren't completely saturated with fragrances built into the shoes. I don't know if anybody cares about that one, but I do, because buying shoes, that's going to really suck. Guys, I'm in here. Did you pre-order it already? Amazon.com, Barnes Noble, right here, expanded edition. So I'm going to move this over, if you don't mind. This is good right here. Mediterranean puttanesca pizza right there in Cafe Gratitude. That's in there now. Go to Cafe Gratitude. That's the medical medium pizza. It's a great honor that they're doing a medical medium pizza. And they give you, with that pizza, some arugula. I'm going to sprinkle some on top, like this. Put as much as you want. You can pile it up. I'm going to take this slice right here. You guys don't mind. Okay, this is good. Very good. Really, really delicious. It's not like saturated in salt. There's no cow milk and cow dairy. And the crust is not just gluten-free, but it's a chickpea potato crust. That is so good. There's so many goodies here. Have you been to Cafe Gratitude? Have you tried that pizza? This is a kelp noodle salad right here. It's a Thai kelp noodle. This is absolutely delicious too. So people are really loving this one as well. I see spices in here. Very delicious. You guys, I can't scratch the surface of this book. I can be out here for hours and hours and hours. I just want you to know. And you're not going to be able to even have me scratch the surface of how much is in here. There's that much information. Recipes. It's a beautiful book. I talk about excessive blood draw in here. I talk about chemtrails, geoengineering, toxic burning, pharmaceutical industry side effects, adrenaline addiction and triggers, mind control, that's a big one. Everywhere you turn, there's an agenda that involves conditioning people. And this book is filled with symptoms, conditions. It's basically a symptoms and conditions guide. You open it up, you find the foods you need, you look at the symptoms, conditions, you can go into the index, you can go there, find your symptom condition in there. Everywhere you turn, there's an agenda that involves conditioning people. There isn't just one mind control entity in the sky or one mind control entity in the governments around the planet that's doing all the mind control. Mind control is everything from gaslighting to conditioning to create addictions, to spinning the truth, to tactics and strategies. to blame somebody for doing something that the blamers themselves are doing, to our own education systems and institutions casting out individual thinking, pressuring people into groupthink. This keeps everybody distracted. Mainstream media tend to recommend things to the chronically ill, or to anyone for that matter, that don't help their situation. That's a big deal right there. Younger generations are not being prepared for where the world is now, or where the world is going. Institution curriculum in educational systems, including universities, is candy coated. Younger people are being presented with an unrealistic model of what the world is. Mind control is a big deal, so I got a whole thing on that. You guys, thanks so much for being here. I still have the tahini cookies. A really good, look at this one, the wild blueberry oat bar. Wild blueberry oat bar right there, freshly made. It's a baked good, Cafe Gratitude, and it is just so good. That's a wild blueberry oat bar. Made fresh there. It's on the new menu though, coming out November 6th. So good. The tahini cookie is on the menu now. Is that right here? Have you tried this? I have two of them here. That's a tahini cookie right there at Cafe Gratitude. And that one's so good. Feels really good. All right, guys. Make sure you look for the book. It's an incredible resource. I love you much.